Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 worst Brahms conductors. People who just destroy this beloved music. It's not really all that easy to do. Brahms is difficult. His orchestration is, well, let's just say quixotic. It requires a certain amount of imagination to balance properly. His forms are complex. His syntax is really special. He uses rhythm in a very, very interesting way, particularly combinations of 2 and 3, triplets and duplets and things like that. You know, there's all kinds of issues. His dynamics are extremely precise and careful, and it's really easy to just make his music sound either like mud or absolutely icy cold and clinical, and oh my goodness, there's so many ways to screw it up. And the biggest screwer upper, without a doubt, or one of the biggest screwer uppers, is Sergiu Celibidache. Now, I've gotten rid of most of the crazy Celibidachniks already because they've already cursed and carried on and had a nervous breakdown and sent me horrible comments, and I've deleted them all. And, so I don't know what's going to come in this time. You never know. Whenever his name pops up, something happens. But the truth of the matter is he was completely inept in music in sonata form. That means Haydn, Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms. And the reason is that he didn't give a damn about any sort of linear continuity. He was a chord guy. He wanted balance. He wanted every note to have its own individual weight. He was okay in Bruckner because Bruckner was not really a sonata form composer. And so, doing big, huge blocks separated from each other by pauses was something that Celibidache could handle. He was also very good at some of the French Impressionists and things like that, where the music was all chord-based. There was no counterpoint. There was no linearity. But Brahms is all counterpoint and linearity. He really is. I mean, that was his thing. Bass lines are critically important in Brahms. Rhythm is really, really important in floating these long contrapuntal lines and combinations of themes. Brahms is a natural outgrowth of the German tradition of Bach and Beethoven, and you can't get around that. You can't turn it into something it's not, and that's what Celibidache tried to do and failed so absolutely dismally. His Brahms is just slow and dreary and droopy, and it falls apart, and it's just crazy. And every so often, for example, the recapitulation leading up to the recapitulation of the first movement of the First Symphony, where he finally lets the trumpets and drums just hammer out the Beethoven fifth motive, da-da-da-dum, 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 like this. And it's just so crude because, they haven't really been doing anything else for the rest of the movement. And finally, you get to the sense that, this is what he thinks is important. But the melody, of course, is somewhere else. Da ba da dum bum ba da da dum ba ba da dum ba ba da dum ba. This huge climax is building up. Oh, he blows it completely. Absolutely ridiculous. So that's Celibidache. Then we have Daniel Harding. Now, Daniel Harding is just the opposite of Celibidache. He is icy cold, inexpressive, clinical, detached, medicinal, alcoholic, I don't know, whatever you want, antiseptic, that was the word. It's the thing that alcohol does. Antiseptic. That's his Brahms. It's as if a machine is playing it. It has absolutely no expressive feeling whatsoever. It's icy, awful, dreadful, terrible. So there's that one. That's exciting. And then here's one that may surprise you. Leonard Bernstein. Now, Bernstein did a pretty good Brahms cycle with the New York Philharmonic, but his remake in Vienna is a disgrace. It's super, super slow. It's almost Celibidache slow. It really is. And heavy and thick. And occasionally, it's not that he doesn't get the expression part. He does. Obviously, it's Bernstein. He's into expressing all the time. But it's really a narcissistic and horribly droopy, dreary Brahms cycle. Really a scandalously bad thing he did. You know, a lot of his late stuff became very slow and really kind of heavy and clunky and sometimes it was great. He was a genius. He could be great at any point. And a lot of his DG remakes were stunning, but some of them were just horrendous. And his Brahms symphonies anyway. The concertos weren't so bad because he had to deal with a soloist and whatnot. But boy, it's ironic. Bernstein gave this speech when he did the first piano concerto with Glenn Gould about how they didn't agree about anything, and Glenn Gould wanted super slow tempos, and Bernstein, actually, the performance, as it turned out, was not so weird, at least the recorded examples that we have of it. But later in life, he went and did a Gould. It's just, it's Brahms, it takes it apart and slows down over everything. It's just bad. Just bad. Also bad, but for different reasons, Nikolaus Harnoncourt. It's very, very interesting that when Harnoncourt did Dvorak, he was fabulous. He allowed the orchestra to play, and there's this relaxed geniality, and the tunes really sing, and it's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But when he did Brahms with the Berlin Philharmonic, he was in Harnoncourt mode because it was German. It had to have a concept. It had to have rhetorical emphases in all the weird places. It had to have oddities of balance and strangenesses wherever he could stuff them in there to make it sound like anything other than what Brahms is supposed to sound like. Oh, it was really, really just dreadful. I mean, and Harnoncourt could be that way. He was a lot like Leonard Bernstein. When you think about it, he could be very, very exciting and natural and fresh and make the whole thing sound like new. Or he could just be weird and point-making. That's what it really was. There's this micromanagey point-making thing that Bernstein did, a pedantry. People talk about it being excessively emotional. It wasn't. It was pedantic with both of them, with Bernstein and Harnoncourt, when they were trying to make points. But the problem is that the music and Brahms' symphonies are bigger than any individual points. Yes, you could say to Brahms, he was dead. No, you could say to you about Brahms, the symphonies express this, and we're going to focus just on this. But they also do that, and lots of that. And the this is this much of it, and the that is everything else. And when you make the this bigger than the everything else that, you wind up with really grotesque Brahms. And that's what both of these guys did. There we go. Then we've got John Eliot Gardiner, who did a couple of Brahms cycles, both of which are dreadful. He was one of the Daniel Harding-style clinicalists. He's basically a time beater in this music. There is no advantage whatsoever, none, zero, zippo, categorically, to using period instruments in Brahms. There is nothing that Brahms expected of his orchestra that can't be realized equally well, if not better, with normal instruments playing in the normal manner. It's just no question about it. And Gardiner, with his Brahmsy stuff, is another conductor who just beats time and occasionally throws in an inflection here or there just to let us know that they're not dead, that there are human beings operating behind this. But in terms of some sort of expressive conception of what these pieces are about, it's just about tidy ensemble, clean playing, and an occasional oddity of balance brought forth just to let us know that these are period instruments. But in terms of, Brahmsian expression, oh, goodness, just forget it. It's ridiculous. So there you have it. The 5 worst Brahms conductors ever. Actually, there are more. I can think of several more. And you might be able to think of several more, too. Feel free to let me know who they are. And keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.